It's been a tough week looking at Jesus' words of warning in Luke 12, and it's not going to get easier today, because listen to Jesus' words again. He says in verse 45, "Suppose the servant says to himself, 'My master is taking a long time in coming,' and then he begins to beat the other servants, men and women, and to eat and drink and get drunk. The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he's not aware of. He will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the unbelievers." And then Jesus says, "The servant who knows the master's will and does not get ready or does not do what the master wants will be beaten with many blows. But the one who does not know and does things deserving punishment will be beaten with few blows." And there are many people who reject this type of teaching. They talk about the love of God being so big that it can't possibly exclude anybody. And so they write off these words of Jesus and focus on the gentle stuff only. I was like that at one point. Soon after I left school, I'd read a passage like this and say, ridiculous. This was just the early church trying to scare people. But Jesus wasn't like this. I was making a false god by choosing the parts of Jesus that I wanted to listen to and ignoring the rest. But the more I read the Gospels, the more I see Jesus being tough. And the more I see Jesus clearly talking about punishment for those who reject him. I don't believe that Jesus said these things with glee. I don't believe he looked forward to punishing anybody. We know that each human being is created by God, and each human being has the breath of life in them from God alone. He longs for all to be saved and reconciled to him. He doesn't take any pleasure in the punishment of the wicked. He desires their salvation. But God won't override human free will. And the consequence of this is that many will reject him, and so will be punished because of the evil in their lives, which has separated them from God. But before we start pointing fingers at others, consider Jesus' words today, because he was talking at first about one who was waiting for the master to return. A Christian, in other words, who believed in the master, but who lost faith and started acting out in evil. And they were beaten with many blows and cut into pieces and assigned a place in hell, according to Jesus. Frightening. And friends, fear is not usually a good motivator to get people into the kingdom of God. Love is the supreme motivator. And so we should always be loving people into God's arms, not scaring them. But sometimes the most loving thing you can do for someone is to scare them a bit. Only sometimes. The famous example of this is if someone is driving towards a bridge that has collapsed but doesn't know it. It would not be loving to tell them to just keep going. It would be loving to warn them and scare them by saying, "Stop, you're going to drive right over the edge and crash." Maybe Jesus here was giving such a warning, a loving warning, saying, "Be ready, because I don't want to see you get cut into pieces." It's a hard teaching, but friends, if Jesus said it, we can't ignore it. Can we take his words to heart today and be sure to be ready when he comes? It'll be good when he comes if we are ready. Let's take his warning to heart. Well, have a wonderful weekend, my friends, and thank you for supporting the ministry that I do. I appreciate it. Hey, if you're in Boksburg on Sunday night, the 3rd of December, come to the Church of the Nazarene. Crossroad will be doing the carols. I'm looking forward to making music with them. It's going to be great. I hope to see you there.